What's going on, guys? Happy Sunday. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. To be completely transparent, I wasn't really going to go live about this case. Typically, I don't go live about cases that are active at this exact moment just because it's always ever evolving. But I think that, I can connect some dots for a lot of people, and I think I can really help a lot of people I can help people better understand what's going on. So again, share this out, tap the hell out that screen. Let's bring this out to as many people as possible. We have a great size platform, and we want to make sure we're spreading the awareness. But as you guys know, I only talk about things that are the facts of the case. That's it. I don't talk about conspiracies. I don't talk about opinions. I don't talk about speculation. I do not do any of that. I'm going to go over this case, and I'm going to go over what we have so far, and then I'm going to go over what might be happening behind the scenes that a lot of people really don't know about. So before we do that, let's get as many people in here as we can. Hey guys, how you guys doing? I see everyone saying hi. How you guys doing? But let's get as many people in here as we absolutely can, and let's talk a little bit about this case, starting with Nancy and Savannah Guthrie. So behind me, you guys have Savannah Guthrie and you have Nancy Guthrie. Savannah Guthrie is one of the anchors on the Today Show, and her mom was taken about 8 days ago now. It was like late Saturday, almost into Sunday morning last week, January 31st into February 1st. Now, there's a lot of speculation surrounding this case right now. This is very, very active and ongoing, hence why it's only been like 7 or 8 days. But there's ever evolving information on this case. So what I'm going to do is try to connect whatever dots I can to answer whatever questions I can answer for you guys. You being prior law enforcement, I can help you guys with that. But let me give you guys what we know so far. These are the facts that we know. About a week ago, okay, it was like late Saturday night into Sunday morning. Her cameras go off. They get completely disconnected. We know that was done remotely. Then around 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:15 in the morning, the camera picked up a person on the camera, but however, it was not rolling. It was not recording. So it didn't actually physically record the person. It did give you a notification that person seen. A lot of you guys probably have that. I have that with my cameras. It might say person seen, but unless you have a subscription or you're paying for it every single month, it may not record. So you'll see person seen, but you won't actually see what it recorded, if that makes sense. So then you have that, and then they found some spots of red fluids on the ground outside of like her front doorway. This is a very big house, guys. I don't know if you guys saw this. This is like a little compound, okay? It's an enormous place. There's a pool in the back. There's a main house, and this is like a guest house or like a pool house type thing. Like there's another, like a garage area. Like there's a lot going on. It's a really, really big house. Now, let's go into some of the little details of this case. We don't know why she was taken, but I can tell you guys confidently, at least in my professional opinion, there was a reason why she was taken, and she is not the main reason. She is not the motive, okay? She is not the motive of this case. She was taken for something else, for some other reason. We do not know what that other reason is. But if you're going to take an 84-year-old woman, there's a very good chance that you are doing that for some other bigger reason. Here's the next thing that a lot of people were talking about. Well, she's very, very old. She's fragile. She's frail. She needs her medication. There's a very good chance whoever has her most likely has medication for her. She wasn't on these crazy high dosage pills. From what I understand, they were for her pressure. You can get those pretty much anywhere, especially if someone's doing this kind of under the radar. So again, at any point, they could be still giving her the medication that she needs just to keep her alive. If you guys know, she's worth more alive than she would be unalived. So that's essentially what we have. I know it's really, really quick, but that's what we have. Now we have a lot more information. Like we found out that there was a white van parked out front. My big question is, how come if a neighbor saw this white van, why didn't they call the police? Why didn't they call her? Why didn't they say, hey, there's a white van out there. Not sure if you're getting any work done or if you have something going on, but do you know who they are? And if she says no, just call the police and say, look, there's a white van parked in front of our houses. Like they're in a pretty remote area, guys. They're not in this big, enormous neighborhood. They're like in the middle of the desert. They're in compounds. Just make a phone call. The sheriff deputies will show up there real quick. It won't take long. They'll be there in a second. Now, here's the next thing. What's up, Jeremy? Here's the next thing. They found cameras that were on. It was on the roof. Now, we don't know yet, and the truth is, guys, we don't know yet. We do not know yet if the cameras that were found up on that roof actually pertain to Nancy, meaning were they her cameras or somebody else's cameras? We do not know. Here's the next thing. And this is recent. How many of you guys have heard, I actually heard this literally like half hour ago. How many of you guys have heard that they have a map in their hand? They saw investigators holding a rolled up map. How many of you guys have seen or heard that? This was just recent. I like literally just saw it like right before I came live, where they said, excuse me, where they said investigators were seen with a map. It was like a rolled up white map. Okay, if you guys have not seen it, that's what they were talking about recently. However, if you guys look at the actual pictures of the map, it's not an actual map. It's just a rolled up piece of paper that the investigators have. In my opinion, they're probably blueprints of the house. Why? That house is enormous. There's a very good chance that it's like I think Lux just said, a floor plan, blueprints. Like it doesn't always have to be a map. And the problem is we actually don't see it unrolled. We never got a chance to see what it is. It's just rolled up paper. Almost looks like a like wrapping paper, but it's white. It literally could be blueprints of the house. The house is enormous. They need to know all the ins and outs of the house. They need to know all of that stuff. So when someone's saying there's a map, we don't know that it's a map, okay? They don't know that. So why am I bringing this up? Well, if you guys have been watching the news, what has the FBI been saying? They've been saying, we urge the public and the media to stop speculating. They're urging the media to stop creating narratives. It's not helping. How many times have you guys heard me say that on my lives? All these people pushing narratives and speculation without any proof or confirmation. How many of you guys have heard me say that so many times on all my lives? Right? I say it all the time. All the time. I'm like, guys, we can only focus on the facts of the case. That's it. The facts. So when they say there's a rolled up map, the map is speculation and opinion. We don't know that it's a map. It's a rolled up piece of paper. Like again, looks like wrapping paper. But again, it could be a blueprint. If you notice, guys, my words, I never said it is a blueprint of the house. I said it could be a blueprint of the house. Okay? It could be. But it also makes sense for it to be a blueprint because they need to know the layout of that home to know all the little nooks and crannies of that house. It's very common in investigations like this, especially in bigger homes. It's extremely common to see that. Now, here's the next thing I want to go over. How many of you guys have heard about the red fluids that were found on the porch, the front porch? How many of you guys have heard about the red fluids found on that porch? And if you guys know on TikTok, we can't say what those red fluids are. Okay. One thing is they have not confirmed yet if they are Nancy's. They haven't. Okay. Just to be very clear, they haven't confirmed that yet. Okay. All we have is red drops. Okay. I have not heard a confirmation on that yet. Now, if you guys have heard confirmation on it, please let me know, but I have not heard confirmation on it. Okay. I haven't. So that's the only thing. I haven't heard that yet. Did they say it was? So probably okay. If the sheriff said they did, I'm just reading you guys. Hold on. I'm just reading you guys. Okay. All right. If the sheriff said it was hers, okay, then it's hers. Like if the sheriff said it physically, it's hers, then okay, it's been confirmed. Like I said, guys, I didn't hear that, but cool. Okay. If you guys said that they did, there's a lot of you saying they did, then we're going to roll with they did. It was hers. So here's the thing. If they're saying that it is hers, and if they did it by DNA, that's great. Here's the thing that I'm a little bit worried about. If there's some there's probably some more in the house somewhere. So my question to you guys is, how does it end up out there but not in the house? It might be in the house as well, and they just haven't found it yet, or they did, but they're not saying anything. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about that. They are not going to harm her outside where someone could see it or hear it. They're going to be doing it inside the house. Now, obviously, the drops that you guys saw probably occurred inside the house, and then when they made their way out the house, it was just kind of dropping. Does that make sense? That they're probably not going to harm her outside because people could hear or see it. It probably happened in the house, and when they made their way outside the house, there was probably some drops of it because it was like after the fact. That's usually what happened. Again, doesn't mean that's what happened. We weren't there, but that to me makes sense and logical sense of when it happened and where it happened. Now, here's the next thing I want to go into. Did you guys notice there has not been a single ransom note ever written on paper or a ransom note that someone can physically hold? Have you guys noticed that? There is not a single ransom note that like someone can physically hold. It's been a message to a news station. Haven't you guys thought yet how weird it is that it's only coming in without paper? Think about this. Or without like a direct email. It's coming in indirectly. Have you guys noticed how weird that is? It doesn't make sense, but it looks like the Guthrie family is starting to take it a little bit more seriously now. Now they're saying, and I did a video on this earlier, so I want to start going into this a little bit, okay? A lot of people are asking questions about, well, if they sent it, why can't they trace it? You guys want me to explain why they cannot trace it? Because there's a lot of questions about tracing this back and checking this and checking that. Do you guys want me to explain why they cannot trace it? So it's not like the movies, okay? You can't just trace things like this. It's not as simple as people think. There's a lot of malware involved in this. There's a lot of multiple VPNs that are protecting it. Here's the thing. If you are not tracing it while they're doing it, you 9 times out of 10 cannot trace it back. Does that make sense? So if you're not in the middle of tracing it while they're operating on that platform or on that tool, you probably won't get it. Okay, you probably won't get it. You would have to do it that exact moment. And as soon as they send it, they get off of it and they have another VPN and it's like everything you've done is completely gone. That is how it typically works. So that's why they're not able to track it back. Here's the next thing that they're having some problems with right now. There's a lot of speculation around the family. A lot of speculation around the family, okay? Now, one thing, the son-in-law. They brought up the son-in-law and they said the son-in-law is responsible, or could be responsible, because he was the last one to see her alive. That does not mean that he's responsible, okay? Just because he was the last one to see her does not make him responsible. But again, a lot of people keep jumping to that conclusion. We have to back off. We can't keep jumping to conclusions. But I will give you guys a little bit more information that I know you guys probably want to hear. This is based on my professional opinion on doing things like this and being involved in things like this. Let me tell you the way things work. I am about 98% confident that the information that we're hearing from the public or from the Guthrie family is probably 30% of what they actually know. Actually, 30% of what we actually know. Let me say it again. What we're hearing from the family publicly is only about 30% of what we know. They're not going to give all this information out there. If you guys notice, is there a way for them to respond directly to the people writing the ransom note, guys? Yes or no? Is there a way that the Guthrie family can respond to the ransom note? Yes or no? The answer is no. The only way to do it is to do it publicly. Social media, news outlets, that's it. What does that tell you guys? Tell me, what does that tell you guys? If you have no way to respond directly to them and you only can do it indirectly, what does that tell you? Let me see what you guys got. What does that tell you? All right, I'm seeing a bunch of different answers. Here's the answer I'm looking for. They're watching. Whoever is responsible for these ransom notes or these ransom messages, they're watching. They're watching everything that's being said. Everything, okay? That's the only way the Guthrie family can communicate with whomever's doing this. The only way they can do it, okay, is to put it out there publicly. That's the only way they can do it. So they're watching everything that's being said right now. They're doing it for a form of control, okay? Hopefully you guys heard that last part. They're doing it as a form of control, okay? Control. They're doing this to let them know. It's almost like mental warfare, we would call it. They're doing it to let you know we have what you want. We are the ones that are responsible. We are the ones that have all the control. You will do everything we want you to do. You want her back, then you will do this, okay? That's why they're doing it. They're doing it as a form of control. Is it real? Is it fake? We do not know, but I can tell you right now, law enforcement probably has a very good idea if it's real or fake, but right now they are basing it on it being real, okay? Right now, law enforcement is basing it on being real. This is not a situation where you have to call their bluff, if you guys know that, okay? This is not a situation where, they're gonna say, hey, let's call their bluff and see what they do next. This is not one of those situations. Okay, not one of those situations. They're watching everything. Also, Also, they're most likely watching this investigation as well. They're in a desert area, guys. There's a very good chance they know exactly what's going on. They know when they're at the house, when they're not at the house, when they have a or a drone. They are very, very slick with stuff like this. Very, very slick. Now, let's go into the next segment. Before I do, if you guys just found me today and you guys had no idea I even existed before, I'm prior law enforcement, so I give you guys the most law enforcement lens information I can. So again, if you guys haven't followed yet, there's actually, I just realized there's 3,000 of you. That's incredible because we've never had more than 2,400. So 3,200 of you, if you guys haven't followed yet, press that little follow button at the very top of the screen. It means the hell of a lot, because if we're going to get answers for the Guthrie family and all the other cases that we cover, this is what they're watching. This is what they want to know, okay? This is how they want to do things. So again, if you guys haven't followed yet, follow that, press that little follow button at the very top of the screen. It means everything. Let's go into some more crazy little details. Let's talk about this. We are ready to listen. That is what Savannah Guthrie said. We are ready to listen. Now, that tells me, and I want to hear what you guys, actually, let me do this. Tell me, guys, if you agree with my next statement. Here's my next statement. Here's what I want to say. To let me know, guys, let me know if this makes sense. We are ready to listen. That lets me know, or tells me, there was some form of communication prior and they did not take it seriously, but now they are ready to take it seriously. Yes or no? Does that resonate with you guys? When Savannah said we're ready to listen, that leads me to believe there was some basic level communication before. Maybe they did not take it seriously, but now they're ready to take it seriously. Okay, that's what it says to me. Again, I could be way off. I could be absolutely way off. But again, to me, that makes some sense. It seems like there was a little bit of a stubbornness, a little bit of a power struggle there. Next, we are ready to pay the ransom. Did you guys know that they just said that yesterday? Did you guys know that? They just said yesterday, February 7th, we are ready to pay the ransom. We're ready to pay the money, or we're ready to pay. You guys saw that yesterday? If you didn't see it, Savannah is kind of pretty much the unofficial spokesperson for the family. She said it yesterday. She goes, we're ready to pay. There's another deadline, and it's Monday. I believe it's 5 p.m. tomorrow, but that's the next deadline is Monday. So the point that I'm making is now they're saying we're ready. I want you guys to listen to the words that the family's using. We are ready, okay? We are ready. That means at one point, in my professional opinion, there was, is it 9 a.m.? Okay, 9 a.m. I knew it was Monday at some point. They're saying we're ready, which leads me to believe they weren't ready at one point, and there was probably a little bit of that power struggle, okay? But now they're saying they're ready. So what they're doing is saying, we're ready to do this. We're taking you seriously. We want our mom back. What is it going to take? So now they're kind of, I wouldn't say submitting, but they're adhering to the demands that are being put out there right now. That's what it tells me. It also tells me that they might just be saying this, okay? They might just be saying this just for the public. I want to say it again. They might just be saying this just for the public. We don't know. But they could be being told by law enforcement, you need to say these things. You need to go out there and say this. Because remember, guys, if those people who took Savannah's mother, are listening, okay, and they're paying attention to this, all right, not just me, but to Savannah and the family, if they're listening and they say, we're ready to pay the ransom, we're ready to listen, we're ready to talk, okay, that could mean, okay, they're listening, they're ready to work with us, let's try to keep this woman alive. Here's the next thing. Do you guys agree with me that whatever they took her for, she's worth more alive than unalive? Do you guys agree with that? How many of you guys agree that Nancy Guthrie is worth more alive versus unalived? Yeah. Look at all the responses. All yeses, right? All yeses. She's worth more alive than unalived. Here's the other thing. Whatever these people want that took her, they're only going to get it if she's alive. If she's not alive, they won't get it. That could be something that law enforcement is most likely saying to the family behind closed doors, saying, I know this sounds terrible, but the longer we can kind of adhere to these demands and make them sound like we're listening to them, they're going to keep her alive. They need her alive. Whatever they want, they need her alive for it. So she's being used, in my opinion, as a pawn. I do not think Nancy Guthrie is the target of this whole thing at all. At all. I don't think Nancy is the target. I think it's a deeper target. I think it's a bigger target. How many of you guys agree with that? How many of you guys think that Nancy's being used as a pawn? She's not the main target. She's being used for something bigger, something more manufactured. Okay, that leads me again to solidify my claim that she's worth more alive than unalived. Now, here's the next thing. I want to go into how things typically go when there's an abduction. Okay, this is based on my past experience. Do you guys want me to detail how things typically go in a regular abduction versus, we would call this a monetary abduction? Do you guys want me to explain that to you? There's a difference between an abduction and a monetary abduction. All right, perfect. Before we do that, guys, there's 3,600 of you on this live. If you haven't followed yet, press that little follow button at the top of the screen. We're going to be talking, we're live every single day, but if we're going to have this many people, we'll make sure to put this into our repertoire, so to speak, our arsenal, because we want to find Nancy. No family should ever have to go through this. So again, if you guys haven't followed yet, it's right up here. So press that little button and we will start moving forward here. Let me explain how typical kidnappings work or abductions work, and then we'll go into a monetary abduction. A typical abduction is they're going to take the person. They might leave a demand. They typically don't do that anymore. But if they're going to do it, they're going to do it for a reason. And if they don't get what they want, they unalive the person, they move on. That's it. They unalive them, then they move on. And a monetary one, which is lining up for something like this, they need her alive. Because whatever they took her for, they need her alive to get whatever the hell it is that they want. Okay, that's what it is. Now, right now, we don't know what they want, but there's a very, very good chance, and let me know what you guys think. There's a very, very good chance that the family might already know what the reason is behind this, and they're not allowed to share publicly. Do you guys agree or disagree with that? How many of you guys agree or disagree with that? That the family most likely knows exactly why they did this, but they cannot disclose it publicly. All right. It's very common for some things like this to happen. I also know a lot of times when people are talking about cases like this, they want to find them tomorrow. It doesn't work like that, guys. They may have a lot more information than they're sharing with the public. If they go and say to the public, we know where you are, we're going to come find you, that's dangerous. So they're not going to do it. They're going to act as if they have no idea. But there's a very good chance that the family knows a lot more than they're leading on. Now, let's go into the next piece of this. How many of you guys believe that family is involved? Yes or no? How many of you guys believe family is involved? Okay, I'm just reading your responses. Okay. So a lot of people believe the family is involved. I can tell you, I don't believe the family has physically harmed her or taken her, but I think it's something within the family that has happened. Maybe something that was put out there in the news, something involving the family, I believe, is the reason this is happening. So again, I'm not saying that, Savannah did anything, or the son-in-law or the brother or the husband. I'm not saying that. I'm saying something involving the family is the reason behind this, is the motive behind this. None of us know what that is. None of us. Now, how many of you guys think this is all connected to something Epstein related? Because I've been hearing this a lot lately. How many of you guys believe this is somewhat Epstein related? I'm just reading your responses, guys. I'm not frozen. Okay. Here's the thing. If it is Epstein or Turning Point USA related, whatever, I can tell you right now, if it was, she would have been unalived and left there right in the kitchen or right in the house and found where she was left. Or left where she was found, whatever. They would have done that immediately to send a message. They're not going to communicate and create this big buzz thing. They don't do that. They're going to do it right there, let you know, if you keep it up, this is what's going to happen. We won't stop here. We'll keep going. That's what they do. Okay? But the fact is, they're not going to do that and then take the woman and then somehow communicate with them and then make them disappear. No, they want you to find them. You guys hearing to me here? Are you guys listening to me here? They want you to find them unalived. They want you to find them for that. okay? They want you to find them so that they know, okay, I probably shouldn't do this anymore. I'm good. Like, you know, they wouldn't laugh about it. But I'm just saying, like, okay, we can't do. Look what they did to mom. Like, it's like that. They're not gonna listen. I can tell you right now, if it's government related or Epstein related or the Clinton related, you're not gonna find. You're not. It's not gonna be a wild goose chase. Now, it happens. They move on. Why? Because it happens quick. The investigation is quick, and that's it. They move on. Do you really think they want an 8-day long investigation, guys? Honestly, do you really think whoever did this wants an 8-day long investigation and then some? Probably not. So that's why I don't believe it is Epstein related. I don't think it's government related. I don't think it's any of that. I don't think it's distraction related. Guys, look, Savannah Guthrie, I know about her past interview and all that stuff. She's not the biggest talk show host out there, guys. She's not. So the fact that this happened leads me to believe that it is personal. There's something involving the family we do not know. We have no idea what it is, but there's something involving the family, guys, that we don't know about. The family probably knows about it. Law enforcement probably explained that to them. This is probably why it's happening, but that's it. Here's another thing. Have any of you guys heard if NBC is willing to help the family pay the ransom? Yes or no? Did anyone here believe or hear that NBC is willing to fork up the money to pay the ransom, or at least help to pay the ransom? You guys are right. The answer is no. They haven't said anything. Now, there's two ways to look at that. There's two ways to look at that, guys, okay? One way to look at that is they don't want to be involved. They just kind of want to back up. And also, if they do say they're willing to pay, then the ransom amount will go up because the Today Show or NBC, whoever runs the Today Show, is going to have a lot more money. So that ransom would go up, okay? Or there's something that the news station knows that we don't know. And, you know, we're going to leave that one where it is. But we really don't know. It's usually one or the other. But typically, you know, if you've been working there and you're a big-time anchor, that company is probably going to want to help you get your mother back. But the fact that they're not helping is either A, they don't want it to go public because that ransom amount goes up, or B, there's something that they know and we don't know about it. We really don't know what it is. We truly do not know. Truly don't know. Next. Here's the next thing. And I think this one is just as important. And again, just let me know what you guys think here. Do you guys think at any point that this could have been avoided? Yes or no? Do you guys think at any point that this could have been avoided? Okay, bunch of yeses, right? I do think this could have been avoided. That's why I believe there's something with maybe what Savannah was covering or something that happened in the past, someone who's personally got a vendetta against the family. That's who's going to do something like this. However, it's going to take someone extremely crafty. If you noticed, did you guys know that her video surveillance was disconnected? It wasn't disconnected at the house. It was disconnected remotely, which means someone had access to that. Someone has an IT background to be able to do that. It's not, you can't just go to your neighbors and disconnect something remotely without a general IT background. So that was disconnected remotely. So at that point, that leads me to believe this is very, very personal. Very, very personal. Now, we don't know who it is. We have no idea. I know people keep saying the son-in-law because he's a teacher. I get it. But we actually do not know who that is. Well, we know who that is. But I mean, we don't know who did it. We have no idea. We have no idea. But I can tell you this was calculated, but this is more personal. They did this to get to somebody else. They used her to get to somebody else. Now, do you guys want to know the next thing that leads me to believe that this was not government related? Do you guys want to hear why I can confirm in my own opinion, obviously it's just my opinion, that the government is not related to this or involved in this? Okay, before I go into that, guys, there's almost 4,000 of you up on this live. Before we go any further, press that little follow button up here. Let's grow the account and let's put some support on there. But again, guys, before we do anything, press that little follow button above the screen. There's about 4,000 of you on this live. Let's bring Nancy home. The only way we're going to be able to do it is if we have a little bit more support and we can push this in the right direction. Here's how I can tell you this was not government related, not Epstein related, not Clinton related, whatever, not government related. Here it is right here. Where was the red fluids found, guys? Where were the red fluids found? And you guys know what I mean by red fluid. Where were the red fluids found? Okay, by the front door. Okay, perfect. So there was red fluids found by the front door. Okay, next. Where did they find that random camera? Where did they find that random camera? Remember that random camera that they took down? On the roof. Now, do you guys want me to tell you why I know, based on my opinion, obviously, but my professional experience, why it's not government related? They wouldn't have left red fluids on the floor. They wouldn't have left their camera up there. When they were done with what they were doing, they would have done a sweep. They would have cleaned everything up. They would have left nothing there. The fact, if you're going to leave a camera there, like, okay, like whatever, there, maybe you can lie about it. But having the red fluids there, no, that proves a struggle. If this was government related, they would have cleaned all that stuff up, completely cleaned it up. And it wouldn't be done, guys, by the way, by one person. It would not be done by one person. This is a group effort. There's more than one person. I can tell you guys right now, if this was government related, you'd have one person doing it, another person supervising it, and another person cleaning it up. This is not a one person thing. Okay? So that's how I know it's not government related. It's not. It's too messy to be government related. Completely too messy to be government related at all. This is a group of people. It could be at least more than one. It could be two people for all we know. But I can tell you right now, it's not going to take much to overpower an 84-year-old woman, especially in the middle of the night. Okay? Especially in the middle of the night. It's not going to take much to overpower her. Okay? But they did something to her because they were able to know the red fluid splatter that was found out on the porch. They did enough to her, okay, to get her out of there. But I believe she's still alive. I absolutely believe, guys, she is still alive. And you want to know something else that's probably going to creep you guys out? She probably knows everything that's happening. Everything that's happening. She probably doesn't know who the people are. Okay? She probably doesn't know who the people are that took her because they're probably covered up. Like their faces are covered. It could be someone else doing the talking, but she knows what's going on. And she's most likely being told what's going on to keep her very sane and comfortable. Also, her medication. A lot of people keep talking about her medication. Guys, if this was so calculated like it seems to be, they most likely have a stash of medication for her to keep her alive. And that's a lot of things. That's a lot that a lot of people don't understand. When we have like organized groups like this and organized calculated crimes like this, they have stuff to keep you alive and comfortable. Because remember, she's worth more alive than unalived. Okay? So they have what they need for her. Now, a lot of people keep saying things like, I just saw a funny comment. They need a prescription. Guys, if people are doing illegal things, yes or no? If people are doing illegal things, guys, don't you think they can get prescription medication without an actual prescription? Like, it's funny when people are like, you need a prescription for that. Do you not know what criminals do? Just so you guys know, here's a quick little snippet. Criminals, especially big organized crime factions, have better health insurance than we do. They have the best neurosurgeons and doctors on standby. Okay? Like, that's something a lot of people don't know. But God forbid you need, like, surgery, they can call someone for $1 million. They'll be there in an hour, and they'll do it for you. We don't have, none of us regular people have any of that. So again, when people are like, oh, you need a prescription for that. Okay. You go and tell an organized crime individual you need a prescription for that. You see how far that gets you. Okay? Just saying. Just saying. Now, let's talk a little bit more about what actually happened that morning. How many of you guys have heard what time did her pacemaker alert that her heart pressure was going through the roof? What time? Do you guys remember what time? Yep, you guys are right. It's around 2 o'clock in the morning, okay? 2 o'clock in the morning is when the pressure started to kick in. 2:12 in the morning is when the video, well, the camera alerted that there was a person or they saw somebody. But remember, it didn't record because it was disconnected. But so around 2 o'clock in the morning, the heart rate goes up. Around 2 o'clock in the morning, the cameras are alerting to something. That's when it all happened, okay? That's when it happened, was at that time. Okay, she was probably completely terrified, scared. The poor thing had no idea what was going on, but that's the time that it all happened. Now, did you guys remember how long was the very first press conference that the family gave? Do you guys remember? The very first time the family came out to speak, how long was it? You guys remember how long it was? This is going to make sense. It was 20 minutes. Look it up. They spoke for 20 minutes. Feel free to look it up. The very first one was 20 minutes. After that, 20 seconds or less. Why do you think? Oh, I know it's long. Ever since then, 20 seconds. Do you guys know why? Do you guys know why it's been like that? Now all of a sudden they're very quick and to the point? Because the investigators are letting them know they're not watching you for 20 minutes. We have probably under 30 seconds to keep their attention, and that's it. So the Federal Bureau of Investigation, along with the CIA, which is Central Intelligence, is telling them, you need to make a statement, and it's got to be under 30 seconds. That's the only way they're going to listen to you. You can't ramble for 20 minutes. Just like some of you will listen to me for a minute and then get off of me and then come back. It's the same thing. Okay? It's the same thing. They're being told, you got to do it. So here's the point that I'm trying to make. Remember that. It went from a long first speech to about 20 seconds. Here's the next thing. We are ready to talk. We are ready to speak, or we're ready to listen, something like that. We're ready to pay. If you noticed at the beginning, they didn't even want it. They didn't say anything about being ready to speak. They didn't say anything about paying a ransom note or a ransom amount. Do you guys remember that? At the very, very beginning, like on the first things that Savannah and her brother Cameron said, they never talked about wanting to listen. They never wanted to talk about paying money. Now, what did she say? We're ready to listen. We're ready to pay. Why? That's the third example. The first example is when they went from long conversations to short, then ready to listen and ready to pay. Why? They're ready to listen and pay because the FBI and intelligence are saying you got to be very quick. All they care about right now is that you're going to listen to them, take them seriously, and you're willing to pay. You have to put that out there. That's all they're doing. Do you guys get what I'm saying? They're being told at this point, you need to put the information out there right now that you're ready to listen, you're taking them seriously, and you're willing to pay. That's what they want to hear. If they know you're willing to pay, they're going to keep her alive. Do you guys agree with that? If they can believe or can be made to believe you're willing to pay and listen, they're going to keep her alive. They're not going to off her, guys. I don't care what anybody says. They're not going to unalive her. Okay? They're not going to do that. Now that they said we're ready to listen and we're ready to pay, they're not going to unalive her. They may increase the ransom amount. Yes, they may do that. But now that they're saying we're willing to listen, you guys want to know what that tells me? We're ready to listen. We're ready to pay. Do you guys want to know what that tells me? Before I give you guys that information about what it tells me, that they're willing to pay, they're willing to listen, there's 4,800 of you on this live. Press that little follow button right up here. Before I give you that information, press that little follow button right above here. It allows us to keep talking about this case and show the support to the Guthrie family, including the other cases that we work. So again, if you guys haven't pressed that follow button yet, really great. I really appreciate the support, but press it. It's right up here. It's right up here in this general vicinity, somewhere up there. But I do appreciate you guys. This is what it tells me. We're ready to listen. We're ready to talk. You know what that tells me? That tells me that the FBI and or intelligence have some level of proof that she's not unalived. I'm going to say it again. Hearing we're ready to talk, we're ready to pay, they are being fed information from intelligence essentially saying we have some level of confirmation that she is not unalived. That's why they're doing it. If they have any confirmation that she's gone, they're not going to say those things. That's number one. Number two, if they have no information at all, if they're just stuck and they have nothing to say or nothing to do, and they're like, we don't know what to do, they're not going to be very specific. They're going to say, keep doing what you're doing. Just keep putting it out there. This is the only way they can respond to the messages, guys. You guys know that, right? Just by yes or no. You guys know that, right? This is the only way they can respond to any ransom note or ransom message. The only way to do it is to respond in the media. You guys know that, right? You guys remember that or know that? That's the only way. So if they have no other way of responding to these ransom messages, this is all they got. And they have to, how many of you guys know what's the number one rule when dealing in a hostage situation? What's the number one rule? Anyone here who's law enforcement should know this. What's the number one rule when dealing in a hostage situation? Number one rule. Keep them engaged. That's right. Yep. Keep them engaged. Keep calm. Yep. Yep. Keep communicating. Yep. Communicate. Yep. All right. Let me give you guys the response, right? They are in charge. That's it. That's the number one rule. Make them believe they're in charge. They are boss. You listen to them. You don't mean anything anymore. They are the boss. You listen to them. You treat them like they are your boss. You treat them with respect. If they say, meet me here at this time, say, absolutely. Is there anything else we can bring? That's what you do. You treat them like they are boss. Okay? And that is what they're doing right now, saying, we're ready to listen. We're ready to listen. We're ready to pay. We want to be able to celebrate with our mom. Pretty much saying, whatever you want, we'll do. That is them treating the hostage situation as if it's a real legitimate hostage situation and they are in control. The hostage people are in control. Now, we don't know if it's real or not. We know there was one imposter that was arrested. We don't have any confirmation that the next message that came in the other day is another imposter. We don't have any clue. I can tell you, in my opinion, this second one is not fake. I don't think it's fake. I think it's real. And the reason I think it's real is because people already saw that they made an arrest. Do you guys know why they made an arrest, by the way? Anyone know why they made an arrest about the imposter? They make the arrest to let whoever's watching know, if you do the same crap, we will arrest you. So they're showing, it's the police's way of showing a level of dominance. It's the police's way to prove a precedence. If you try this, we will do this to you. So they're trying to eliminate the future imposters. That's why they're doing it. Okay? So if someone's like, well, wait a minute, we can't do this. We're going to get arrested. They found him. They can find us. It's the same thing. So in this case, we don't know if this next letter is real or not, but I can tell you guys by experience, you got to treat it like it's real. You cannot treat it like it's not real. You must treat it like it's real. Now, how many of you guys knew that the cops were back at her Tucson home yesterday? How many of you guys knew that? She was back at the Tucson, the police were back at the Tucson home yesterday. How many of you guys knew that? Now, I'm going to give you a professional opinion on this of why they went back. Here's the thing. They seized a blue SUV. Here's my question to you guys. Why did they seize the blue SUV yesterday and they didn't seize that same blue SUV last week? Think about that. That SUV did not just show up there. They have constant surveillance on that home. That SUV didn't just show up. So why did they go back to that SUV yesterday but didn't get that SUV before? Now, a lot of you guys are saying new evidence, new information, new evidence. Here's the response I was looking for, right? Here's the response I was looking for. Why wouldn't you just seize that vehicle anyways? Not knowing what was happening in that vehicle or if that vehicle was involved. Why wouldn't you just seize it in the first place? You have the whole house. Why wouldn't you just seize the vehicle? That's the point I'm trying to make. And this is going to make sense, guys, in a moment. But why would you have to go back for that? You should have already have done that. Okay, they should have already have done that. Next, why were we told in the media they're taking more pictures? They're going through, they had a map, they said, but it could be a blueprint. But why are they doing this a week later? Do you guys want to know why? You guys ready? Just say why to me. So I want to make sure you guys listen. Guys, say why to me. Do you guys want to know why they went back a week later and they seized the vehicle and they're taking more pictures? And I back the blue, being prior law enforcement. It's because they missed something. There's areas that they missed. That's why they went back. They missed things. That's why they did it. I think a lot of people keep pushing on oh, there's new information. That's why they went back. No, they probably missed something or missed a whole room or missed a whole something. So they had to go back because they missed it. Okay, that's the reason why they went back, guys. And yes, it happens quite often, but that's why they went back. And all of a sudden they seized this blue vehicle. Why wouldn't you have seized it a week ago when you were there? Doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you seize it when you were there? And how come you didn't know about this camera on the roof? Shouldn't you be scaling? I mean, if you guys know, it's a big home. It's like a compound. Don't you think you should have checked the roof at any point? Don't you think you should have discovered that camera before? It leads me to believe. It doesn't mean the cops didn't do their job. I'm not saying that. I back the blue. But what it does tell me is that they are human and they made mistakes. They are human and they made mistakes. It happens, guys. People make mistakes. Okay, people make mistakes. Now, let's talk about this. How many of you guys have heard about the sheriff going to a basketball game? How many of you guys have heard that he's facing a lot of scrutiny right now because he went to a basketball game? How many of you guys have heard that? Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I know there's 4,400 of you on here right now. He's a human being and he works. He's entitled to time off. That doesn't mean he's not investigating this case. It doesn't mean he's still the front runner on this case. Just because he's off or took a day off to just unplug for a little bit doesn't mean that the investigation stops. No, he's got a special sheriff or a second in command that is going to take over the investigation for the day that he's off. He needs to unplug. He needs to unplug, guys. Just so you know, these people do not work every single day, all night. They literally have families, okay? They have jobs. Jobs require you to take time off. And when you're in a job like that, you absolutely need mental health days. I can tell you. You need time off, but just understand there's always somebody to control that investigation. There's always somebody there. Just because he went to a basketball game does not mean he doesn't care about the Guthrie family. Just because he went to the basketball game does not mean he doesn't give a shit. No, it means he's human like me and the other 4,300 of you on here, and the dude needs time off. That's it. But it's not over with. He's got a special sheriff or a special deputy sheriff that's going to be handling. It depends on their rank structure in Arizona. I don't know all their rank structures there. But if you have like a chief of police or a commissioner, the commissioner then takes some time off. Then you have a special commissioner that's right below them. That's how it works. Now, let's talk a little bit further about some of these things. And then what I'm going to do is a rapid fire Q&A. Okay? A rapid fire Q&A is where my mods will choose whatever questions they want. We do it for a brief period of time. And then you guys have an opportunity to ask me whatever questions you guys want. But that won't be until probably for like another 10 minutes or so. So make sure you guys have your questions ready. Now, here's the next thing I think is really, really important to discuss and talk about. How many of you guys knew that Savannah had some pretty interesting interviews a little bit prior to Nancy being taken? How many of you guys knew that? When I say interesting interviews, it means that she covered a pretty testy topic. How many of you guys knew that? Okay. I understand that a lot of people think that that's relative because she was talking about Epstein or Clinton and stuff like that. But if this was government related, we would have found Nancy by now. She would have been found gone in the house to send a message. She would have been there. She absolutely would have been there. It has nothing to do with that segment, but what it does have to do with is something that Savannah or the family did or they are a part of over the last probably 6 months. All right? It's something over the last 6 months. That's where they're at. Now, I say the last 6 months because I'm talking about something that's a big distance away. It's not something that happened a week or two ago. No, because you know what? They would have went after her, not Nancy. Why go after Nancy and not Savannah? Well, because Nancy's older. But think about that. Think about this. Why did they go after the 84-year-old woman, but not Savannah? Think about this. Think, excuse me. Think about this outside the box. Why are they going after the older woman and not the younger woman? Remember, it doesn't matter if Nancy has 10 million and Savannah has 5 million. It doesn't matter. It's coming from the same family. Comes from the same family. Why her over Savannah? There's a connection between Savannah and Nancy, and it could be that family connection I was telling you about. Remember I said there's some form of weird connection? I said we don't know what it is, but that's the motive. There's a connection between these two. Maybe Savannah said something. Maybe Nancy said something. Maybe they did something. We don't know. But if you're going to go after an older woman, okay, and I understand she's fragile, I understand she's easier to overwhelm and take over, I get that. But if you're going to do that and then kind of hide out a little bit and then not really allow them to speak to you, think about that. What do you think that does to the psyche? How many of you guys have heard about ransom notes in general? How many of you guys have heard about crimes with ransom notes in general? Just give me like a yes or no. How many of you guys have heard about ransom notes in general? Okay, so when it comes down to ransom notes, just so you guys know, ransom notes are not like in 2026. It's like not a thing. It hasn't been in for many, many years, but it seems like it's kind of coming back full circle. So now they're starting to make their way back into the mix. If you took her and you want money, then why aren't you making it easy to get the money? I'm going to say that again. If you took her, meaning like if I'm talking to the hostages, if you took her and you took her for ransom, for money, why are you making it difficult to receive the money? Think about that. Think about that. You want the money, right? Well, then why are you making it more difficult to get the money? That doesn't make sense. Why would you want this to be played out for a week when you could get the money right away and that's it? Think about that. It doesn't add up. That's what leads me to believe that this is personal. The money might be secondary. I don't believe money's the real motive here. I believe that that is secondary. Because here's the thing. If you want money now, not in 8 days, okay, or in 7 days. You want the money now. So I believe this is personal. I do not know if it's family related or a personal friend, someone from their church, someone that maybe goes to the same cafe as them, or we don't know. But it's something personal. Because if you want that money, you're going to want it now. You're not going to want to wait 8 days. And you're not going to want to make it difficult to get the money either. Okay? You're not going to do that. You're going to say, I want the money and this is how I want it. That's it. That's it. It's also very easy too. All they have to do is this. If you guys don't know, the next message, all it has to do is, we want $5 million here in this location at this time on this date. That's it. That's it. Think about it. We want this much money at this time, at this date, at this location. That's it. We'll bring her back. That's it. Do you guys see how simple that is? Bring us the money and we'll return her. That's it. But if you guys notice, they're not doing that, right? Think about this. They're not doing that. It's not that simple for them. It's not just, oh, just bring the money here and we'll return her. It's not that simple, guys. This is personal. They're doing this, guys. We called this, when I was in law enforcement, we called it psychological warfare. We called it Jedi mind tricks. I don't know if that's a law enforcement thing, but that's what we always called it. It's Jedi mind tricks. It's psychological warfare. They're doing this to get in their heads. They're doing this to control the brain. They're doing this to prove we can do whatever we want. Because like I said, they could simply say, we have her, we want this much money, drop it off here, we'll leave her behind. We'll do this so you can find her. That's all I have to do. It's that simple. If you really want money, why would you wait 8 days to do it? Doesn't make any sense. This is personal. There's a reason that they chose Nancy. This is personal. Now, before I go into the Q&A, I know that there was a lot of people that were asking questions about cartels, or if she's in Mexico, or organized crime. Do you guys want me to touch on that a little bit? You guys want me to touch on that a little bit about organized crime or cartel and stuff like that? Okay. So before I do, let me give you guys a little background on me. There's 4,000 of you on this live, and I know a lot of you are like, who the hell are you? I'm prior law enforcement, okay? I'm no longer within law enforcement. My daughter was very young at the time, and I moved on. I just wanted to be there for nights, weekends, and holidays, but I was always like in love with true crime, and I wanted to really solve these things and just be a part of solving it, and that's why I left. I'm no longer involved with it, no, but I do stuff just like this. So I want to make sure you guys know this is who I am. Again, we usually cover a bunch of other cases. I show a bunch of receipts with those cases. No real receipts for me to show you here, but I do always talk about things like through a legal lens. So again, if that's the kind of creator you guys like, press that follow button right above the screen. I greatly appreciate you guys. It means a lot. Now, let's go into organized crime and or cartels. I'm going to keep it very simple. If this was organized crime and or cartels, okay, they would have already have done it by now. And if they unalived her, you would have already have known. They would have said, we want the money at this location at this time. If we don't get it, she's gone. And they would have done it. That's it. They would have done it. Do you really think the cartels want to be in the media? Do you think the word cartel wants to be put in the media? No. We took her. We want this much money. If we don't get it by this date, she's gone. And then they would leave her there to show you, we'll do it again. And just like we took Nancy, we might take Savannah. We might take this person. We might take that person. That's how they operate. That's how we know it's not organized crime. That's how we know. Because the longer it stays out there, the higher the risk that you get caught. So in my opinion, this was personal. This is someone that knew the family. Could it be family? It's possible. It's possible. It's absolutely possible. But it's somebody that's close to them. Because as I said, guys, a minute ago, before we do the rapid fire Q&A, just like I said a minute ago, okay? Very simple stuff. If they wanted to take Nancy and take her just for ransom, they would have said, give us this much money at this time, at this location. Once we receive it, we'll drop her off. They never once told them, here's our Christy, they never once told them where to be. Did they? Did they ever get a location to drop off this money, guys? Yes or no? Did they ever get anything? Any place, any location to drop off the money, guys? Anything? No. The answer is no. They have no idea where to bring the money. What the hell kind of ransom note is this? Or ransom messages? You don't even know where to bring it. So have $6 million in Bitcoin. Okay. Where do you want it? No response. No response. Think about that. No response. There was absolutely no response. Now, when you think about it like that, and you're like, well, how come, if you want the money, shouldn't you tell me where to bring it? They're not doing that. What are they doing, guys? Think outside the box with me. Think outside the box. Before we do the Q&A, think outside the box. They're doing this for a way of control. They're letting Savannah know we can do whatever we want to you. There's a very good chance Savannah might know who's involved. I'm going to say that again. There's a good chance Savannah knows who's involved or who possibly could be involved. She's not going to say it, but there's a very, very good chance that she has a general idea of who is involved. And that's why when she's up there, she ain't crying. She ain't crying. Feel free to fact check me. Watch the most recent video she put out yesterday. She ain't crying. Cameron's on the side of her with his eyes closed like this. He occasionally goes like this and he picks his head up. She's not crying. Look at her, I think it's her sister right next to her she had the glasses on. She put her head down, she closed her eyes. That leads me to believe, guys, everything you guys saw yesterday, Christine, I agree. Everything you guys saw yesterday was orchestrated by the feds. I'm not saying she's faking, by the way. I'm not saying she's lying to us. I'm not saying that. But she's not crying. I don't see tears at all. To me, that was orchestrated by the feds yesterday. That was a calculated message on purpose put out there. Think about that. Think outside the box. That's a very calculated Federal Bureau of Investigation or Central Intelligence Agency way of operating. You have to put this out. You have to do this. You have to do that. It removes the emotion. They do that on purpose. It doesn't mean she's lying to us. It just means that they had to do this for whoever is listening. That's what it means. Where you have to do this so whoever's listening, they know you're paying attention. They know you're taking them seriously. They are in control. But you got to put this video out and you must say this. Next, last thing I want to do before the Q&A. Somebody said a minute ago, proof of life. Proof of life. In my opinion, you're never going to get a proof of life. How many of you guys ever heard in a real world scenario that a hostage will show proof of life before showing or receiving the money in real life? How many of you guys have ever heard that happening? Yeah, it doesn't really happen. Doesn't really happen. Okay? Doesn't happen. It's usually, listen, bring the money, and if she's alive, we'll bring her to you. If she's not alive, that's on you. We want the money. They don't negotiate, guys. They don't. They don't negotiate. This isn't the movies. This isn't a Netflix special. This is real life. They're not going to say, oh, okay, I'll show you that she's alive. Because, guys, do you know AI can show that somebody's alive and they're really not? And you might think it's really them. So stop asking for proof of life. You'll end up getting a friggin' AI video and you'll think it's real. Sorry, listen, guys, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm all for finding Nancy and Savannah and justice for the family. I'm 125% involved in that. But AI is a real thing, okay? You can literally say, oh yeah, look, she's proof of life. Look, there's proof of life. She's alive. That's free. It's AI. So stop asking for it. You're just going to get something. You're just going to get some BS. Stop asking for it. What are their demands? Understand their demands and do exactly what they're asking of you. Just do exactly what they're asking. And you guys ready for the last part? This part is going to ruffle feathers. Are you guys ready for your feathers to be ruffled? You guys ready for your feathers to be ruffled? Don't be surprised when you find out who's responsible. Don't be surprised if it surprises you. That's all I'm going to say. Don't be surprised if it surprises you. My lieutenant used to tell me that. He used to say, don't be surprised if it surprises you. Or don't you get surprised when you're surprised. So that's what I'm going to tell you. Don't let it surprise you when it surprises you. All right, guys, let's do the rapid fire Q&A. This is something that I always do. I think not a lot of creators do this. They sometimes just like to talk. I like to answer whatever questions you guys have. So whatever questions you guys have, lay them on me, and my mods will choose whatever questions they want, and we will have an opportunity to answer you. I'll address you, and we'll answer it. The rest of you, if you haven't followed yet, there's 4,000 of you on this live. Press that little follow button. I greatly appreciate it. We're doing this on Super Bowl Sunday. Let's bring as much awareness as we possibly can for Nancy and Savannah Guthrie. Means the absolute world. But again, if you guys have not followed yet, press that little follow button right now. How far from the house do you think she was taken? She originally, I believe, was not taken very far because I believe whoever did this is watching this whole thing. It could be on TV. They could have, I don't know if you guys know, but some of these cameras are so advanced, especially on the black market. You could be like 3 miles away and still have a bird's eye view of what's happening. You can literally see somebody's pores from 3 miles away. So I believe at first she wasn't too far, Shannon. I think she's moved a little further away now because the search is starting to expand. But I think originally she was very close. So if it's personal, what is the purpose of doing what they're doing? So Patty Cakes, I believe the purpose is unknown. I believe the family does know what that purpose is. I believe something happened internally within the Guthrie family that we are not, aware of. There is something I believe that Savannah, Nancy, Cam, and the sisters do know what happened, or do know, not what happened, but do know what that motive really is. And I don't believe they're able to actually say it publicly. Ange, how do you think she will be returned? Drop somewhere on a live meetup? No. If she is to be returned, she will be returned at probably in the most remote place ever. A place where everyone can see if there's cameras, or an area where they can see if there's anybody with weapons, stuff like that. Most likely what they would do is put her somewhere, leave her there, maybe chain her to something, or put her somewhere, maybe sedate her and leave her there. Somebody will go retrieve the money. They'll make an electronic have some form of electronic communication to say, hey, we got the money, and then they'll say this is where she is, but they'll already be long gone. She'll just be there in a remote location. That's most likely how it's going to happen. And if they're smart, if the United States government is smart, I think Trump said he sent a National Guard or something, it should be a military recon mission. Is it Susie Q? Didn't they provide Bitcoin accounts to transfer the money to? Not from what I understood. There was a Bitcoin amount of, I think it was like $6 million in Bitcoin, or 6 million Bitcoin, something like that. But from what I understood, when they try to trace it back, it didn't link to anything. The account number didn't link to anything. So there was something there, but they were unable to link it. Case, what do you think about the wording "so we can celebrate with her" in the recent statement? It's funny you said that, Case. I actually did a video on that right before this live. So Case, what do you think about the wording "so we can celebrate with her"? So in the video, I said a couple things. One, her birthday was like over a week ago, and Savannah wasn't able to celebrate the birthday with her. So that could be the celebration. Number two, just celebrate her being home. Or number three, a celebration of life if she's already gone. That would be their way of celebrating her life. So again, I don't know which one. It could go either way. I do think that was a very interesting, phrase to use. But I agree. It's a very interesting thing. Keep coming with these questions. I'm going to answer Kelly now. Keep coming with these questions, guys. Like I said, not a lot of creators do this. They just kind of talk. I want to hear directly from you guys. Kelly, do you think the family has hired a private investigator? No. Honestly, no. There's no need for a private investigator at this point. They have intelligence with them right now. They have the FBI. Intelligence is just CIA. They have intelligence. They have FBI. They have the government working with them. There's no point in paying a private investigator at this point. There's more than enough eyes. There's more than enough expertise surrounding this case right now. But I do think if nothing happens over the next couple of months, the family may hire a private investigator. Donna, what do you think it's going to take to end this? Time. I believe time is going to end this. I believe if they went back and they said, we'll give you, we'll return her if you give us the money on this day or this time, it's time. And I think what Savannah needs to say, since she's going to be the unofficial spokesperson of the family, is she needs to say, we need to know exactly where to bring the money. Please tell us where we can bring the money. We will bring you what you asked for. We just want our mom back. We need to know where to bring the money. If you guys noticed, she never said that in the address. She said, we're ready to listen. We're ready to pay. They never once say, we need to know where. Where do we need to? Please send us a message to let us know where to go. Please send us that message. She's never done that. So that's what I think would end this. And then why I said is time. It's based on how quickly the information gets out there. Melissa, do you think this is Epstein related? No, I brought this up earlier in the live. I don't know if you were on. If this was Epstein related or government related or deep state related, I can tell you it would have already been done and over with. And you would have found her in her home unalived. They would have, right where they found her, they would have left her. That's how things like that work. They don't take them and communicate and then have an investigation for 8 days. They wouldn't do that. Tati, in cases where money isn't important, what are the kidnappers usually looking for? It really depends, Tati, on the situation, who they're taking. In your question, what are the kidnappers usually looking for? If it's not money, it could be something racially related. It could be someone hostage related. It could be terroristic related. It could be someone that was illegally imprisoned. An innocent person who was imprisoned. There's always some level of motive. Every hostage situation is different. In this case, I couldn't really tell you, but if it's not money related, sometimes it's hostage related. Sometimes it's racially related. Sometimes it's family related. There's all kinds of explanations there. Crazy, just crazy. Any more information about the white van in the neighborhood prior to her disappearing? From what we understand, there was a call from the neighbors about that white van. We haven't heard much. One thing I will tell you guys, if there's any new information, if you notice, the police are being very tight-lipped about that new information. They are not releasing a lot of information right now. So if there's new developments, they're not saying anything. They're saying, oh, they're back at the house. They seized the blue vehicle, but that blue vehicle has been in the garage the entire time. That's not really like new. That's probably something whoever took Nancy probably already knew that was going to happen eventually. And they're probably laughing, saying like, why did it take them so long to do this? But anything that is new, you won't hear in the media. It's going to take a while. Stephanie, red fluids found at her house caused by, we do not know what it was caused by. We do know that there was droplets of it on her front porch. It was like a brick stone porch there. Had brick archways. We don't know what it was caused from. They did confirm, the sheriff was able to confirm, which thank you guys for the people that checked on that for me. They did confirm it was her red fluids. I would assume due to the struggle. It was not an animal. It was hers. So I would assume there was a struggle that happened inside the house, Stephanie. And then it as they made their way outside, that's where it happened, which leads me to believe she most likely was taken out through that front door. I know a lot of people aren't talking about that, but I do believe she was taken out that front door. It happened in the house, and then she was taken out that front door, which means there might be some evidence around that front area that they might not be looking at. And maybe they are. But in my opinion, they came right out that front door. Liz, do you think this is staged? No, I don't think it's staged. If you stage something like this and you have the CIA involved and the FBI involved, the amount of jail time or prison time you're going to get for this is going to be ridiculous. You would ruin your entire life and your children's lives and your grandchildren's lives and their grandchildren's lives. I don't think it's staged. I do think that the very first ransom note, I think, was to try to make money off of somebody else's sadness, 100%. But that's it. I don't think it was staged though. Molly, do you think they did this to stop Savannah going to the Olympics, like jealousy? I don't know about taking someone's 84-year-old grandmother and all that is, out of jealousy. Like that's a little big. I know Savannah was supposed to go to the Olympics, but I don't know what that was supposed to do. Kidnapping somebody. I mean, I guess you could just flatten somebody's tires if you wanted to stop them from going to the airport or something, or you want to like throw a brick through their window and make them feel uncomfortable. Or I don't think taking their 84-year-old, mother would make sense to keep her from going to the Olympics. But I mean, I guess it's a possibility, but Harper with a palm tree. Do you think ransom notes are a distraction? Some of them can be, some of them might not be. In this case, these were ransom messages because we don't have an actual physical note. These messages were sent to the news stations. I believe TMZ was one of them, which leads us to believe they want more attention. They want to be treated with respect. They want people to know that we have control. It is a controlling thing. That's what a lot of times it happens. But I don't think all of ransom notes are distractions. Some are, yes, but a lot of ransom notes, if you're going to take the time to write one, they're going to want you to fulfill the ransom note. And so far, they haven't been able to. Do you think something big will happen tomorrow on the deadline? That's a good question, Amy. I don't think anything big will happen, but we will get another message from the family. Oops. Nothing. Next question. Just got all red. Someone said something earlier about a lie detector test. Lie detector tests don't matter. Lie detector tests don't matter. They're not admissible in court. There's a lot of times when people, will be legitimately telling the truth. And when they're telling the truth, they can still show up that they're showing deception on a lie detector test or a polygraph test. And then there could be some people that, are lying through their teeth, and it comes out that they're telling the truth. So lie detector tests don't really matter. You can hook everybody up to a lie detector test. It's not going to matter. With a high pressure situation like this, a high, red bodily fluid pressure situation, a high heart rate pressure situation like this, anybody can fail a polygraph test because everything's based on your central nervous system. And yes, guys, I'm prior law enforcement. Yes. What is your gut feelings, Laura? My gut feeling is that Savannah and the family do know now a little bit more about why this happened. I don't know if they know exactly whom, but I do believe at this point, Savannah and the family do have a real general idea of why. They're not going to release that. That is my gut feeling, but I do believe they do have a very good idea of the why right now. Mom and CO2 Grammy. Can't even pronounce it. Is it CO2? Isn't that like carbon dioxide? Do you think the son-in-law is involved? That's a loaded question. I don't know. I think a lot of people jump to the son-in-law, just like a lot of people would jump to Burke Ramsey in the John Benet Ramsey case, or, they run to the family for the Amy Bradley case. They run to the random weird guy in the Maura Murray disappearance, Butch Atwood. I think he's somebody that people are jumping after because he was the last one to see her. He doesn't physically or aesthetically look like he wouldn't do something. I think people are judging a book by its cover when it comes down to him. That's my answer to that. Lux Mama, I've seen your name come up a couple times. I appreciate you asking me a question. Do you think the family has been told she's unalive, but they will pay for the body back? No. Because at that point, if she was unalived, everything's done. If they want to pay to have her body back to give a proper burial, they would have said already in the public broadcast, we know she's no longer with us. We got your message. We've heard your message. All we're asking is to please please return her to us so we can give her a proper burial that she deserves. They would have said something, I think, at this point, if that was the case. They wouldn't lie and keep pushing it out to the media if that was not the case, if that makes sense. Let's do two more questions. What do you guys got? And also, again, there's 3,800 of you guys. If you guys haven't followed yet, what are we doing? We are live every single day. This is a big case. We may continue talking about this for the next couple of days, okay? So, if you guys haven't pressed that if you guys has not pressed that follow button, it's right above the screen. Really, really appreciate you guys. Let's do two more questions. Was her doors unlocked at night? No, they were not unlocked. They took the camera off. Right now, there's some speculation around that the camera was taken off, and that was a way of seeing what would happen to just kind of like do like a little test run. But her doors were locked. I might have said they weren't locked. I meant to say they were locked. They were not unlocked. They were able to get in, find her. Remember, guys, this is a big house. You have to know exactly where she is at all times. There's also a good chance, and I know this is something no one else has brought up, I would want to know if someone has done any work in her home at all over the last year. That would be a question I'd be asking if I was on this case. Did any work get done in this home? Any home improvement projects get done in this home over the last 6 months? That would be a big question I would be asking too, because those people would know, the layout of the house. And I did see someone say, yes, they did the roof in January of 2026, which is literally just last month. And we found a random camera on the roof. There you go. So to me, I'm not saying, okay, that's it. It's the roof, guys. I'm not saying that. But do you see how just me asking that question, you guys taught me something. I actually didn't know that. I just said I would like to know who did some work in the house over the last 6 months. And you guys just said, yes, the roof was just done in January. I'm like, well, that was a month ago, and they found a camera on that roof. That could be a connection. It could be. We don't know, but that's something that I'd be looking into. TikTok Mom. I'm gonna end the live with TikTok Mom. I think it's a pretty cool name. Do you think there is more than one person involved? Yes. In my opinion, there's no way you're going to be able to electronically cut that security footage, cut the cloud, everything, remove her by yourself without anyone else hearing, seeing anything. I absolutely do think, yes, there's definitely more than one person involved. I do. Mr. Plums, you said I asked like a million times. What was your question? I'll make sure to answer it. My mods will see your question. You can ask whatever question you have. I try my best, guys, to answer. If you saw today, there was 3,700 people on here. It's not easy for me to answer all of you on a regular live. I think you guys know we have usually about 1,100 to 1,200. This is 3 times that. At one point, almost 4 times that. It's hard for me to answer all of you, but I do my absolute best to make sure we're able to answer you guys. So is it Mr. Plums? If you have a question, I'll make sure my mods pin it. And there it is. Why did the president get involved? Great question. That's probably a question for the president. I do not know why he chose to get involved in this case versus another case or other cases. Excuse me. I don't know. If I told you, I would be completely speculating. One thing about me, if you guys haven't realized, I do not speculate. I don't talk about opinions or speculation. I always avoid politics. So I couldn't answer that. I do not know why he got involved. I'd be speculating if I told you, and I'd rather not. I have too much respect for you guys, to do that. One thing, guys, you guys know about me, I don't discriminate anybody. I'm not a political guy. I don't talk politics on my page. I've yet to hear a positive outcome out of any political conversation. I just don't do it. It's just, it makes people uncomfortable, and I'd rather everyone be comfortable on my page. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care how you identify. I don't care. I respect you. You respect me. That is how I operate on my platform. So again, I don't talk politics. It's just the way it is. As one of my mods put here, I'm not a political guy. It is the way it is. I want everyone to feel comfortable commenting on my page. So let's do one more random question, and we will hop off, guys, for the day. And obviously, we got to watch the Super Bowl tonight. So one last question. Amy or Whitney, why don't you choose whatever question you guys want? And again, we are live every single day, guys. So make sure you guys are pressing the little bell on my page so that you guys get an opportunity to get notified when I go live. Okay? So make sure you guys are pressing that bell. It's every single day. Typically, it's in the morning and afternoon, something like that. But again, make sure you guys are pressing that follow button and press that little bell. Final question, Mir, do you think Nancy will be returned alive? What's the probability? Well, probability by general probability is 50%, right? She's either going to be returned alive or unalive. So probability is 50%. What are the chances? I would say very low. I wouldn't say 0%, but I'd probably say around 35 to 40%. Do I think she'll be returned alive? I do believe if everything gets figured out this week, I do believe that she will be returned alive. Yes. But again, when it comes down to probability, it's either she's going to be alive or not alive. But I think by chance, you're talking 34 to 40% chance that she is alive and returned. That's the best way I can answer that. So guys, I appreciate all of you, the taps, the gifts, the shares, the likes, the new followers, guys. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, we typically have 1,100 to 1,200 people on every single live. This was almost 4 times that. You're welcome, Mayor. That was almost 4 times that. So I did my absolute best to answer all of you and give you guys the most factual information that I can. Take a look at my profile. Let me see what you guys like. Comment on it. I will reply to your comments. I do the best there on it as I can, but I appreciate every single one of you. This will be on my YouTube as well. My YouTube, if one of you guys, one of my mods can post my YouTube, but it will be updated to my YouTube channel as well, and it will make sure to be on my story, so you guys can see it there. I really do appreciate you guys. It means the world. Let's get Nancy home. She deserves it. Savannah deserves it. The family deserves it. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Have a good rest of your day. Hey, enjoy the Super Bowl. It's going to be a fun one. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Let's hang out for another 56 seconds. That is my YouTube. So if you guys all go there and subscribe to the YouTube, I make sure to update once a week. I put I record these lives once a week. and I put them up on the YouTube. So what I'll do is I'll record this one and I'll put it up on my YouTube so you guys can see it as well. But there's my YouTube channel right there. Laugh and Grind 1. It is right there, ready for that. The bell is, if you go to my page, you'll see the bell at the very top of the screen. If you go to my page, go to like my main page, and you guys will see the bell, and you guys can click the bell, okay? Other than that, guys, I appreciate every single one of you. I saw Cindy Reed just subscribed to my channel. It said it right there. So thank you, Cindy Reed. I don't know if you're still on here, but I appreciate you. And guys, go over there and go subscribe to that. I will upload this live. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the Super Bowl if you're going to watch it. See you guys. Bye.